Hello and welcome to day 18 of the 21-day Ashtanga Yoga Challenge. I cannot believe it's day 18. 18, 19, 20, 20, we've got 4 more days, that's crazy. Anyway, today we are looking at shoulder stand. So make sure that you have done your 5 A's and 3 B's before or an earlier video, just to warm up the body. And within the primary series of Ashtanga, there are loads of variations of shoulder stand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 inverted movements with the legs over the head and coming over and stuff. So there are loads of important factors, I think, to think about with the shoulder stand. Quite often, if there is not enough space through the back of the body, the spine, then when we try and take the legs over the head, we get this dumping into the neck and it feels really strong. Another thing that happens is the breath feels really restricted and we can feel a little bit panicky, and that will depend on body composition and things like that. And balance is another factor here. So there are loads of stuff. There's loads of stuff going on in your shoulder stand, and the main thing that I see is when you go up into a shoulder stand, if that's my lower body to my hip and then my legs, it's almost like this, and that's going to make things feel a little bit stressed on the body. As we know, when we stack bone on top of bone, then things feel lighter and it feels easier. Once the point of gravity, if my my head's here, but my hips are here, I'm going to be really dumping into the hands, arms, wrists. So we really want to work on creating that straight line, but that means that the neck is long at the back. But I'm going to teach you. I'll crack on. So if shoulder stand just isn't your thing, you've done it and you know it's not for you, or if perhaps you are menstruating, as I keep mentioning in closing, but this is relevant because there's a lot of inversions. First 3 days, just avoid it, or maybe take this option. So the first option for shoulder stand is to just get a sensation of what the legs, what it feels like with the legs lifted. So you will need a wall, and then what you do, there are Iyengar yoga videos on YouTube actually, which if you feel really restricted with your breath, they teach putting blankets under your shoulders, which releases the pressure. So I would recommend having a look at that, but I don't teach it that way just because I haven't been taught that way, but it is there and it is really relevant. So if that's you, YouTube Iyengar shoulder stand. Okay, anyway, from here, I'm going to sit nice and tight against the wall. My left shoulder, my left hip is really tightly pressing against the wall, and then I lie down onto my back. And from here, I swing the legs. So now my bum is on the wall and my legs are lifted. And this can be a really lovely restorative inversion pose. Legs up against the wall. We're still getting that direction of energy coming down into the body, but what we're avoiding is coming into the shoulders and the hips. So you can stay here. You can do lots of positions, taking the legs wide, drawing them back in. You can come into a squat position with the soles of the feet against the floor, or you can take soles of the feet together. So in Ashtanga there are 5, 10, 15, 20. There are 20 breaths in shoulder stand, so I'm giving you lots of leg options to do if you come along to a practice, and that is where you're at. So legs straight, apart, bend the knees, soles of the feet together, soles of the feet to the wall, and then soles of the feet together. The next position, if you're okay with that and you want to begin to feel what it's like on the shoulders, we'll go this way. I'm just going to use this wall for this one. What you're going to do is you're going to face the side once again, but this time there's a distance. So I would say it's about my foot's distance between my hip and the wall. And then I'm going to face the wall and lie onto my back. Hopefully that picture won't fall. That happened to me the other day in class. I'm going to take that off just to avoid any disaster moments. Okay, so my glute muscles are a foot away from the wall, and I'm going to lie onto my back and then my knees are bent and my soles of the feet are on the wall. Then from there, I'm going to press into the wall and start lifting the bum off, and then I walk the feet up a little bit higher, and then my hands can come to the floor or bend the elbows and hands to hips. So this is a little bit of a sensation of what it feels like through the neck and into the shoulders. Now I want you to think about pressing the weight into the arms and pressing the elbows down and out of the neck, and so the triceps are pressing down. So you should be able to feel a difference from the pressure into the neck and then into the arms, releasing the neck. And then to come down, hands to floor, curl the spine down, walk the feet down the wall. Now you can have a play at that. Now to get into this deeper and to get that stacking bone on top of bone sensation, we go into it the same way, but the hips are really tight against the wall. So we're really tight against the wall, and then we come, same thing again, press the feet, begin to lift the hips, and this time my hands can go a little bit further up. And then eventually, if your palms can press against the lower back, fingertips face up, you're going to lengthen one leg to the ceiling, then bend the knee, and then the other. And once you've got that, and you want to play with balance, you can come and lift both legs, and to come out, press one foot, and then the other back. Slowly roll down. So that is a fairly quick version of shoulder stand against the wall. But if it's something that you haven't done before, I would advise taking the wall first of all. If you are like me and you just seem to have no fear about doing things like inversions, then you can give it a go if there's no neck injury or neck injuries, shoulder injuries, back injuries. Then the next stage that I would do is, if you have not done shoulder stand before, you are going to get the sensation or the momentum by rounding the spine, tucking chin to chest and rocking back and forward, seeing how that feels. And eventually, after a few rocks, maybe I like to take a block to begin and the toes to rest, and then bend the elbows, hands to lower back, straighten one leg and then the other. And that is your Asana. And to release, take the hands beside you and roll down. So first stage, if you've never done it before, I would say legs up a wall, see how that feels for you. If you don't have the need or desire to go into a shoulder stand, just stay against the wall, it's beautiful. Option 2, never done it, but want to give it a go. Take yourself to the wall, and then press the feet up and work on that, just see how that feels. And then if you've got that, you can also do this thing, rocking back and forward, maybe beginning to straighten the legs. And what you might find is, if you've got tight hamstrings, the legs don't want to straighten, which means the feet won't come to the floor as easy. So you might want to take 2 or 3 blocks underneath. Okay, so I would say go into Halasana, which is plow pose, first. If you're practicing, take the hands behind the lower back, get comfortable with that, and then work on straightening the legs. Now, when I was talking earlier and I was saying what I see a lot, it's this. That's how I see people do their shoulder stand, which is amazing. You're inverting and you are reaping the benefits, but you're going to find it easier if what I do is I squeeze my bum and try and press my hips forward, and then I press my hands into the back and I wiggle the elbows and shoulders to get into a straight line, and then my hands actually can walk down the back towards the shoulders. So I'm going to show you the positions in the Ashtanga primary series and how we get into them. So maybe I'll just do them with a couple of breaths in each to begin, and then we can actually try it together, whatever stage you're at. So I'll show you first, and then we'll break it down with more direction. So to begin, In Salamba Sarvangasana, shoulder stand in the primary series, we lie on the back. The toes are drawn towards us, the hands by the side. As we inhale, we lift the legs 90 degrees. Exhale. And then inhale again, rock it up to the first position, taking the hands to the lower back and pointing the toes. And we can be here from anything between 5 and 10 breaths, depending on your teacher and how much time you have. Then after your breath, the legs remain straight, the hips stay relatively over the shoulders, and we send the legs behind us. So if the feet don't touch the floor, you're going to take your block. Otherwise, the feet come to the floor and you're pointing your toes. So the toes aren't tucked under, they're pointed away from you. We've got strong and active legs. I'm just looking to the camera because I'm sort of talking to you, but really the neck stays neutral, looking between the legs. If you've got Halasana, release the hands to the floor, palms face down. Otherwise, interlink the fingers and wiggle the shoulders together. Then we move into Kanapindasana, ear pressure pose, where we bend the knees and eventually the knees come either side of the head, lightly squeezing the side of the head and eventually closing off the ears, withdrawing the senses. So option one, the hands can reach option one, the hands can reach the heels. Option two, they stay down, extending behind you. Then from there, hands to lower back, lift it up. And option one variation of this is the soles of the feet come together and you take the knees wide like a diamond shape. And then there can be a balance continued from there where you release the hands and take them to the knees and work on the balance. Otherwise, if you have this and you've got lovely open hips, it's actually an upside down lotus. So the right foot comes into the left groin, and then we take the left foot into the right groin. And from there, you extend your arms and straighten. And we take our 5 to 8 breaths there. Then we tuck it in. And then your hands come, release. If the legs aren't in lotus, legs are straight, and we lower all the way down. I was talking very quickly through our breath work there. It's important to just talk about quickly Kanapindasana, Maxi Asana fish pose, our counter pose for shoulder stand. So as you now know, your chest, your throat is beginning to not be restricted, that's too shortened. So we want to open the chest, the throat, and the front of the body. So Maxi Asana, the hands come underneath the bum, palms face down, the legs are straight. There are lots of different variations here. Traditionally, you would be in half lotus through the lower body. For this one and how I teach, legs are straight, and we point the toes. And then as you breathe in, you lift up and rise up onto the elbows. So you're looking forward. So you're on the forearms. And then as you exhale, you take the crown of the head back and let it drop to the floor. Now what I see sometimes is the head doesn't drop back. So you just take a block underneath your head so it's lifted a little. And then we're stretching the chin, the throat, the chest. And we take our 5 breaths. Then to come out of there, chin to chest, and we lower everything back down. Okay, so the other thing I think I should mention actually is quite a lot of the time, if your body's not used to it or you're not warm, you can almost feel like this mild spasm in the back, which I have sometimes. And I think that would be from when we go into Kanapindasana with the knees by the ears, and then it's that really deep flexion of the spine, creating that tight ball. So if you do experience any of that as you come out, Maxi Asana is a good counter pose for that, but any sort of back bending for the spine might be beneficial just to ease it out. Traditionally, it's not in the practice, but that's just my advice if you do experience that. So let's do it with our 5 breaths. Give it a go. So what I'll say is I'm going to maybe try with the block behind you for your toes to rest on. If you're not there, you're going to work onto the wall. And I would say for every 5 breaths that we do 5 breaths up, 5 breaths down, 5 breaths up, 5 breaths down. If you're pressing the feet against the wall. If you're against the wall doing more of a restorative style, you're going to do 5 breaths, legs together, 5 breaths, legs apart, 5 breaths, soles of the feet to the wall, 5 breaths, soles of the feet together. Otherwise, you're going to come with me. Let's give it a go. Okay, so lying down onto your back. The other most important factor about inversions is tucking in your shirt. You don't want to see your belly or be distracted. Well, you definitely don't want to see my belly. And you don't want to get distracted by the fact that your t-shirt is round your face. So straighten the legs, palms face down, toes draw back towards you. Ujjayi breathing. Inhale, lift the legs 90 degrees. Exhale here. Inhale, using the momentum of the legs and the core, come up or come into Halasana, legs behind you, and come up from here. Wiggle the shoulders and elbows together, hands walk down the back, point the toes for 1. Drishti or gaze point towards the feet. 2, 3, 4, 5. Move on the exhale into Halasana, sending the legs behind you, pointing the toes and releasing the hands to the floor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Kanapindasana. Exhale to move, bending the knees beside the head. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Take the hands to the lower back, fingertips face up. Straighten one leg and then the other into first position. Bend the knees out to the side, soles of the feet together. Modified variation. 1, Supta Padmasana. 2, full lotus variation if you have it. 3, 4, 5. Cross the ankles. It's as if you're crossing the legs, tuck them in nice and tight. Hands to stay to the lower back or wrap the hands and arms around the legs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Release the hands to the floor, palms face down. Slowly peel the spine all the way to the floor. Lengthen the legs out onto the floor. Take the palms underneath each bum cheek. Maxi Asana, fish pose. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, take the crown of the head back. 1, lift the chest high, arch the back. 2, point the chin away. 3, 4, 5. Exhale, release. Come onto your back. Take a moment. Good. So from here, do your 4 finishing poses if you'd like. Yoga Mudra, Ujjayi breaths, 10 rounds, Uplutihi, and then take your rest for a few minutes. And that is our Salamba Sarvangasana shoulder stand preparation. So just so you are aware, have a practice, see what suits you in preparation for Sunday's full primary series, so you know which option you should take for your body. I think that's it. I'll see you guys tomorrow for Shirshasana headstand. And we'll see where we go with that one. All right, take care. Bye.